One of the often missed out things in life is life insurance. A lot of times people don't realize just how important life insurance is. One thing we would say when I used to sell life insurance is, if you couldn't make it home, what kind of lifestyle would you want your parents? I messed that up, y'all. If you couldn't make it home, what kind of lifestyle would you want your family to have? Right? And so life is a way to do that. Now, a lot of people don't understand life insurance. So today, in today's class, today is the Black Wealth Rebels, our Wealthy Wednesdays show. We are going to talk about life insurance. Life insurance 101. And we're going to break it down for everybody. If you have any questions, comments about life insurance, make sure you throw it in the chat. How are you, Corey?
Man, I'm living, so I ain't gonna complain. Living is the best thing in the world, man.
All right, that's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah, man.
As y'all can tell, we are short one of our teammates. Jimmy, aka Young Ribeye, is somewhere out in them streets, probably getting a steak somewhere. But I actually think he's speaking to the youth. So Corey, are you happy about the game? You happy about the Super Bowl?
I mean, yeah, I'm happy because the Eagles won, and two things that makes the people around me happier, right? So for real, like there's a noticeable difference in the way people treat each other when the Eagles win compared to when the Eagles lose.
Yes, it is.
And two, that made money for the city. You know what I mean? So anything that brings money in makes me happier. I'm not really even thinking of, like, I tell people all the time, the Philadelphia Eagles are my team because I was born here, and I'm not a sucker and root for another teams in another city when I lived and was born here and was raised here. That's just goofy. And those who do that, yes, I called you a goofy.
Oh boy.
Boy. But my team is always my fantasy team. So my fantasy team lost. So I don't really care. Like, the Eagles ain't the team that pays me. My fantasy team is the only team that will ever pay me. And so while I like the Eagles, that's not my team. My team is my fantasy team every year.
So wait a minute. Do you make money off of fantasy football? Like, you bet on it and all that?
Oh, yeah. I've made thousands of dollars playing fantasy football, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
I don't want you to get in no trouble.
Allegedly. I don't know.
Lord.
Listen, man, y'all be trying, man, but there's always a sinner in the Saints church, man.
That's right. I know that's right. A sinner in the Saints church. Well, what's up, everybody? I see some of y'all coming in. Make sure y'all comment in the comments. Say what's up. Let us know where you're hailing from. And let us know what you think about life insurance. Do you think it's important? Do you think it's a waste of money? Believe it or not, I find a lot of people that do believe it's a waste of money. So I definitely want to talk about that. So without further ado, let's get the party started. Now, I was trying to get one thing together. All right, I got it. Good to go. So we are going to have some fun. Okay.
Allegedly.
AKW Beats. What up? Don Johnson. 2 Beats. All right. H-Town Herb. What up? So, I hear. Yes. All right. Good, man. So Don Johnson says, life insurance is a key component to a solid financial plan. All right. I'm glad to see, but I'm not shocked though, because Don is really on it anyway. I've got way too much life insurance for someone who doesn't have kids. We can debate that. But let me get through the presentation. We could talk about it afterwards. All right. So today we're talking about life insurance 101, building wealth for Black generations, right? So this is the Black Wealth Rebel Show. Again, it's Wealthy Wednesdays, but y'all know everything we talk about is from a Black lens. All the money topics we talk about are through a Black lens and Black perspective. So we have to talk about that. All right. Now, because I got a special surprise for y'all. And again, Jimmy's not going to be here, so he's going to miss this. But we're going to have some fun with this. We're going to have some fun with this. Let's see. Give me 1 second. There we go. All right. So why does life insurance matter? All right. A lot of people think life insurance is just about getting buried, but it's way more than that. Okay. It's about getting buried because you don't want to leave that burden on your family and your loved ones to pay for your funeral. Why did my computer just move? That was weird. All right, hold on, y'all. But life insurance is way more than just burial cost, right? It can be for, well, let me back up. Life insurance, first and foremost, is to replace income. So let's think about it like this. Say you make $50,000 a year. Over the next 20 years, you're going to generate $1 million. And so let's say you have young kids that are just born and you die, you don't make it home that night. And now they have to survive for the next 18, 20, so odd years. They just missed out on $1 million. That can be really rough. That can be really, really rough. Oh man. And I just thought about something. I had something else prepared for y'all. But I'm sorry, y'all. I'm laughing too much. Now, why did my screen move on me? That was really weird. That was really weird. Corey, you still there?
I'm right here. What's up? You
Oh,
good?
okay. No, everything just went blank on me real quick. It was so weird. But okay, sorry about that, y'all. So a lot of times people think life insurance is just for burial costs, and it's way more than that. Life insurance is about income replacement. So keep that in mind. All right. So also, a lot of people don't think about how much life insurance they had. Like I was telling y'all, my father passed not too long ago. He didn't have the most amount of life insurance, y'all. He brought a policy back in the 70s. By my standards, I would say he was underinsured, but he had enough. And I'm not struggling, but think about it like this. A lot of times life insurance, when you buy it, it can be pennies on the dollar. Now, another question I get a lot of times is, what kind of life insurance is the best kind of life insurance? And so to that, I say a life insurance that best suits your situation, life insurance. But let's go over the different types of life insurance. Now, there's roughly 3 types of life insurance. You have term, which usually doesn't generate any cash value. Now, keep this in mind, y'all. Life insurance industry is always remixing and coming up with new ways to offer new products. But they've got some term policies that have some cash value, but they haven't really they haven't really picked up steam and get a lot of popularity or a lot of push behind it. But you have term, you have whole life, which generates cash value. It's the safest because it's guaranteed. And then you have universal life. Now, universal life is kind of a flexible thing because while whole life is guaranteed, it will generate cash value. It's usually based off of a dividend that the life insurance company pays. Universal life and or variable universal life really depends on what the policy is invested in. And normally when you're thinking about a policy, you want to think about the cost of insurance, and then you want to look at what is left over to be invested in anything else. And for the record, a long time ago, a life insurance agent. And people have brought millions of dollars in coverage from me. I didn't make millions of dollars in premium and in commissions, but I got a lot of policies that still out there to this day. But when you have a basic understanding, grasp of these policies, you'll know that no one is better than the other. It's all about the strategy. They're just products that are to be used. All right. So now the benefits of life insurance, like I mentioned earlier, income replacement is the key thing for life insurance. Again, I use the example of if somebody makes $50,000 a year, you can imagine that over the next 20 years, they're going to make about $1 million. If that person doesn't make it home, that family is missing out on $1 million clammos. So that doesn't bode well for anybody. That doesn't bode well for anybody. Now, debt coverage. The insurance when they get a new house to cover the mortgage. They call that mortgage insurance sometimes, right? Also, a lot of times people think about educational funding for their children when thinking about life insurance. And a little bit further on into this, we'll talk about some of the methods on how much coverage you'll need. Because a lot of people are thinking about education and income as well. All right. And listen, if you have any questions, feel free to throw them in there. Just do me a favor. Throw a Q in front of the question so we can make sure we get to that question as soon as possible. All right. So now we're all black in here. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all have heard a lot of sayings about life insurance for why people don't want to get it, especially a lot of the men. All right. But right, insurance. Some people think it's way too expensive. It costs way too much money. Right. A lot of people have trust issues. You'll hear people say, if I get a life insurance policy, my wife's going to kill me. I mean, I've literally had people tell me that. Or I've heard people say, I'm not getting a life insurance policy so she can give it the next dude. I won't use the word a lot of people use. And so they can get a pink Cadillac. Like, these are real things that I've heard and still hear about all this stuff. All right. Now, a lot of times people also on the slide it says it's prioritizing immediate needs. It's not really immediate needs, it's immediate wants. Because what they don't realize or what they don't think about is if you don't have life insurance, who's going to cover the costs or who's going to cover the bills and the food and the trips and the clothes if you ain't there? Oh, I got to pay this cell phone bill this month. I can't pay this life insurance. But they never say, well, let me get on that B word, that budget word that we talked about last week during our financial planning session and see where we can start prioritizing our dollars. So, that's something you all want to think about. Now, how much life insurance do you need? Was talking about that. What was her name? What's her name? Corey.
What's her name for who?
With Nate. She gave Nate the money. I mean, Nate gave her the money.
What's the chick off
from Set It Off? Come on, Don. What's her name, Don? Name.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank like a mug.
All right, don't worry about it. I'll think of it as we go along. I will think of it. No, it wasn't Frankie. Frankie was the other lady.
Frankie was it was Jada Pinkett's character.
Yeah, Stoney. Right, Stoney. So a lot of y'all joked about Nate, but listen, A lot of times people got to do a lot of things, a lot of strange things for some cash. And Nate, a lot of times, will be the one that might come through for cash. He came through for college, but he might come through for a burial too. So you got to think about that when we're protecting our families. All right. But how much life insurance do you need? So one of the income replacement rules, the bigger you are, the bigger the rates you can get. When you're real young, you can get up to at least 20 times your income level. So if you can prove to the life insurance company, now remember, life insurance companies are here to make money, y'all. Let's not get that confused. Life insurance companies are here to make money and to be profitable. So they might say, well, we'll cover somebody up to 20 times their income if they can prove that they made that much money. So let's say, again, they made $50,000. 50 times 20 equals $1 million. So they might cover for that. As you get older, though, they might not do 20 times income because they will say your earning power has gone down because the older you get, the more likely you are. Like, you ever heard people say, I got more years behind me than ahead of me? That's what the actuaries at life insurance are thinking about all the time. All right, but one method, so that's one method, right? So you can do times your annual salary. I love to do 20 times because I think all families who have children should have at least $1 million. And there's a reason for that. We'll get to that in a minute. But another method is what they call the Don method, right? You add up how much debt you have. You add up how much income you have or need to get over the life of your life, your children's life, or anybody else who's impacted by your income. Then you might add in your mortgage. And then if you have children, add in your education. So if your kids want to go to, I don't know, my son was looking at Howard. When we went to visit Howard, it was $50 a year. And that's just straight. That's no scholarships. That's no loans. That's no nothing. 54,000. So 54,000 times 4, right? Your average college student's in college for 4 years. So that's roughly what? 204 times 4 is 16. $216,000. Well, let's just round it up. $220,000. That's a lot of money. So if you got education for $220,000, let's say you got a mortgage for another $200,000, that's $420,000. You got income. Remember I said if you make $50,000 a year, and let's say it's 20 years or however long, let's say that's another $1 million. And then you got that. Let's say you got some credit card debt. So let's just round it up. You might need 1.5 million. These are all rules of thumb. These are all benchmarks. You have to do what works best for you. Remember, personal finance is personal. So think about that as you go through it, y'all. All right. Now, life insurance is a great wealth building tool if you really think about it. Because, again, once you pass away or somebody passes away, that income stream coming in is gone. However, you can get a massive amount of money coming in at one time. And then you can do other things with it. You can, when this chart says, you can buy stocks, you can buy real estate, you can buy other appreciating assets that should grow in time, right? And if they are generating income, and you can then look at getting other things, whether it's mutual funds or other things. So think about that, all right? That also will come into play, like policy you want to get as well, all right? Now here, just looking at this here, how life insurance builds wealth. Immediate financial needs. The immediate financial needs are met, okay? Then if you have a cash value policy, it continues to build wealth and cash over time, all right? And then you can then take and invest the life insurance proceeds. So think about it like this. Corey talks about this all the time. The average stock market rate over the last 100 years is somewhere between 10 and 12%. All right, let's say you got $1 million. Well, if you just invest in the market, now keep in mind the market is going to go up and down. So you got to plan for that. But if you got $1 million, you can plan and probably generate $100,000 a year off of that $1 million. Now, remember the example I used, the person was only making $50,000 of money. You're now able to generate more money than the person was alive. So keeping that, keep that in mind, y'all. Keep that in mind. All right. Now, overcoming a lot of myths about life insurance. Again, I see a lot of people talk about life insurance myths. If y'all talk to any of our elders, they'll talk to you about the old debit routes, where they would have an old white guy with a gray suit, come around and collect their life insurance premium. It might be $2, it might be $5, but they would collect it. And then a lot of times, when somebody passes, they might have $5,000 death benefit. So that's left a lot of people with a bad taste in their mouth, okay? Then other people think about, well, they've got savings. I mean, I know a lot of older folks who are really good to say, think about just use my savings instead of getting my life insurance. Now, I don't know if anybody pays attention to the Black Wolf Rebels Instagram account. The Courtney talking about the benefits of life insurance versus having your money in an IRA or having your money in a Roth. And I was saying that every time you have life insurance, it's always tax-free. When you get the money out of the Roth, or the Roth will be tax-free as well. But when you get it out of, let's say, a traditional IRA or out of a 401k as a beneficiary, you got to pay tax on it. And then even if you have savings in the account, if you are in a state like I am in Pennsylvania, you got to pay inheritance tax on that. So a lot of times, one of the best ways, one of the most financially efficient ways to get money to your loved ones is life insurance. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Oh yeah, this one I get a lot. I'm too young. I don't need life insurance. Well, we do have a lot of young mothers and a lot of young fathers in the community. What happens, and we're seeing the crime rates and the murder rates, what happens if they don't live to see tomorrow? Well, then you got a baby who's grown up with half the money. And that's a best case scenario. So, life insurance, you can never be too young. I mean, I see a lot of my clients in the past I've seen, they have gotten life insurance policies on toddlers. Why? Because a lot of things like people don't think about what life insurance is. Health. Everybody can't get a policy. If you don't have good health or basically okay health, life insurance companies are here to make money. They don't want to take crazy risks that puts them at risk to not make money. Your health is one of those factors. So you got to think about that. You definitely have to think about that. Okay. Now, I know a lot of people probably heard about the waterfall method. Everybody's talking about it on social media, where the Rockefellers will buy life insurance on some of their youngest children. Again, we all know we're going to pass at some point. That passes, the money goes into a trust to build what's called a family bank. Again, that could be a really good use of money and income. But again, you got to be smart about it, and you got to make sure you got to have good strategies for it. All right. Now, I kind of talked about this already, where I said everybody should have $1 million worth of coverage if they have children. Because again, you can create a generation of millionaires just with having a good life insurance strategy. And like I said, it's buy $1 million policy. It could be cash value or it could be term, either one, right? Again, term will only last for a certain period of time. They have 5-year term, 10-year term, 20-year term. I've even seen some 30-year term policies, meaning that coverage will end at the end of that term. Now, the whole life that lasts for your entire life. With one caveat, you got to pay the bill, or at least you got to have enough cash value in the policy to make sure the cost of insurance is covered. So that's something you got to think about as well. All right. And then if you do this right, you can put the money into a trust, or you don't have to do that. You can put the money in some kind of vehicle to invest it. Like I said, the stock market gets 10 to 12%. Maybe you get half of that, 50 to 60,000 a year. That's still good money. Now, here's the trick. The trick's going to be stopping people from saying, you know, I got $1 million. I might go to a trip to the strip club. I might go on a trip to AC. I might go to Vegas, and literally trick that money away. So, you know, there is a level of discipline that's going to come in with all the show. So keep that in mind.
What discipline? What's that?
Discipline.
Kamari dude talking about discipline. You don't know.
Yeah, that D word, that funny D word. Now, no matter what insurance you have, whether it's through your job or policy you've gotten, you got to check up on it, right? So number one, you need to think about, what do you need? Don Johnson mentioned earlier, 10 times his salary. Now, you all have thought about this. How much money do you need in case you don't make it home tomorrow or tonight, right? What will your family need? What will your children need? What will your spouses need, right? You got to think about that. Then you want to start looking at your options, thinking it all through. Now, there's a plethora of ways to figure out life insurance. You got online options. I still love the idea of talking to a good old life insurance agent, but you got to be careful with that, because life insurance does have to be sold, and a lot of people have to think about if the life insurance is, the agent is really an agent. Is he a planner? Because there's different kinds of folks, right? But you want to make sure they're not just there for the sale. They are there to do good, but to do, and think about that. Make sure you got a good person that's on your team. All right. Now, I got a couple real life success stories, or not success stories. My story, again, my dad, everybody knows he's just passed last month. I am not the beneficiary on his life insurance policy. Don't worry, I'm okay. But I wasn't the beneficiary. My grandmother was. She passed in 1996, almost 20 years ago. So he had life insurance, but he didn't keep up with it for whatever reason, right? I'm not mad at him. Life just lives, and he got away from it, right? So you have to review these things. Like we talked about before, set it and forget it no longer exists. Y'all need to get that out of your mind if y'all thinking that way. But if you got to review it, you should review it at least once a year. If you have life insurance, or if you do not have life insurance, you should say, what kind of life insurance do I need? What kind of life insurance can I afford? Right? And then I would say, try to buy as much life insurance as possible. Because it's one thing that, people always say this, nobody wants to pay life insurance, or nobody wants to pay for insurance. However, everybody is happy and glad that they have life insurance, or insurance in general, when something happens. When that car accident happens, people are happy they have full coverage insurance. Even though it might be an arm and a leg, they're happy that everything's going to be covered, and they don't have to worry about too much. They can get rentals. And this, I'm assuming the person has a good company. All companies, you know, especially for some of these car insurance companies, sometimes they don't want to get up off the money for the rental. If you get into an accident, if the car's in the shop, sometimes that can be a bit frustrating. But again, you want to review all the options. You want to see how it works. All right. Now, There was another story I want to share with y'all. Years ago, I grew up with a young lady who had a couple kids from one marriage and they got remarried. And then I found out she had brain cancer. Now, I had been talking to her at the time when I was selling life insurance, but I found out my old company had covered her. And it made me feel so good to know that her young kids were going to be good because they got a couple of dollars. I'm not going to say a couple of dollars. And it was enough to say, all right, at least they don't have to worry about going to school. They don't have to worry about struggling for anything in life at that moment, and they will be good. And so I was really proud of that moment when I found out my company, who was built to service the Black community. They're not around anymore now, but they did some good work at the time. So again, I was really happy about that. Because again, people don't realize, like, when somebody dies, you got to deal with everything. You got to deal with all the calls. Everybody with their condolences. Everybody with their sadness. Nobody cares about your sadness, or maybe they do, but for the most part, they're thinking about themselves. And that's a hell of a thing to go through when you're broke. Because then you got to think, well, how am I going to pay the light bill? How am I going to pay the electric? How am I going to put food on the table or gas on the car? It's going to weigh on a person that's grieving. And that's really unfair, in my opinion, to expect somebody to then grieve, be a good steward for you, and to have no money to do it. So a lot of times we put our priorities in other things and thinking about our legacy, or not being here anymore. But if you really love your folks, you got to give it some thought. You got to think about it. All right. So again, make sure y'all look at all y'all policies. Know that life insurance is a necessity, in my opinion. And make sure you're looking over it and you want to protect your future. All right. So that is today's presentation on life insurance. We are the Black Wealth Rebels. We're going to answer questions now. Corey, what do you think?
I just redid. The other thing about life insurance is when you have major life events, you need to keep up with your life insurance, right? So
Yep.
I'm gonna do it with 4 kids, so I update my life insurance regularly, because I couldn't put my gun away. So make sure if you get when I got married, I updated my life insurance. When each time I had a kid, I had to update my life insurance. Changing jobs.
Correct. Divorce, right? The reason why my dad had my grandmother on his life insurance was because my mother and father had divorced in like 90, 91, something like that. My grandmother passed in 96, so he changed it. But then he forgot a whole bunch of years later.
Yeah.
All right, Dre, I'm sorry. You hate my voice. All right, so Dre, what up, man? I saw a couple of your comments too. I appreciate those in some of the videos. But Dre says, I hate your voices. Buy a new one. Love the leadership and the content. Keep smashing for your rotation. Financial Rebel, thank you, sir. Thank you. Well, the Black Wealth Rebels appreciate you, sir.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, when I was the most life insurance I ever had was when I was 20 years old. My mom, she worked for the Primerica, and I was an agent there. And
you were an agent?
Yeah, I passed.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter. But she got me insured, and then the next year I went into the military because I wasn't 18 when I went in. I was 21, and they gave me $2 million in insurance. Now, these new agents, these new agencies, they don't They don't like to pay for life insurance. They don't like to pay for it at all. So now if you go into the military, you won't be able to get the same kind of insurance. I had $2 million of insurance through the military and another $1.5 million through my mom. I was 3.5 million. Like I was walking around like I was bulletproof, bro. Like that's all poked out. Like I dare you. Like
my people good.
Yeah, like I was tripping. But that was, that was the life I was living though. You know what I mean? So I was good with it. You know what I mean? But so
Okay.
I have nothing like $3.5 million in insurance right now, so please don't kill me. I do have insurance. Like I said, I just, actually I think it was November, my wife made me re-up my insurance.
Shout out to Mrs. Camp for doing a good job.
Yeah, she was not having it. Because
As she shouldn't.
Because she definitely was looking at me like, bro, what are you doing?
Right. I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
She kept telling me to do it, and I kept telling her like, all right, I got you. And then I did it.
I mean, listen, nobody wants to do it. It's not a fun process. Nobody wants to think about death.
Yeah, no, I don't like talking to agents. That's all. It wasn't person like I know I'm going to die, so I'm not. That wasn't the reason at all. I had some issues with like I don't know. I don't like talking to agents. I think agents are old.
A lot of them are. But there are some good ones.
For sure.
All right, but we're gonna get to the comments, but I want to share this one thing with y'all real quick. If I could find it. I've been looking for it. I think y'all enjoy this. So I've been laughing at y'all through all these Nate jokes because there was something I did and I forgot about it, but I remembered it. I used Nate as an example months ago, like last year sometimes. And I went and I dug it up out of the archive. So I want y'all to see this and I want you to tell me what y'all think.
I'm in a bind, Nate.
Some other time.
Oh God, yo.
I really need this money, Nate.
First and foremost, what is life insurance for? Life insurance primarily is for replacement of income. So somebody got kids, right? So if we can't make it back home to take care of those babies might wind up on the pole. They might wind up in.
Like, really? It's virtual.
Really?
OnlyFans.
Everywhere else.
We're virtual, man.
Listen,
Like they went from school to the pole. They
Right.
no
Just like
summer
that.
job.
Just like
honest,
that.
right?
Just like that.
I'm gonna be honest, right? A lot of women wind up in very vulnerable, precarious positions.
Look, did your sister come through for you or what?
Where'd you get this?
Don't worry about where I got it from. That ain't none of your business. Just look at the digits. Stevie, I know this is hardly enough money, but I swear I will get every...
No, listen to me. I didn't get into UCLA, and I'm not going because I didn't get accepted.
You didn't get in?
Come on, Stoney, don't go off on me now.
Don't you tell me not to go off on you.
He don't know what she had to lose.
Idea what I had to go through. Do you?
A lot of women are in very vulnerable, precarious positions when they don't have financial backings, when their loved ones go away, right? We are having real talk here, right? So first and foremost, it's for income replacement. So, I got a soft heart for Stoney, y'all. That So that's why I be taking it personal when y'all
You
talk about
had
Nate.
no idea what I had to do.
Like
Don't
Nate's
tell me
a
you ain't
hero
gonna
or
use
something. Like, and I know
Oh,
Don's
man.
here. If Anthony pulls up, I know we're gonna have a problem. But yeah, I got a soft spot for Tony, y'all. Listen.
You have no idea. Don't tell me you ain't getting UCLA.
No
You have
idea.
no idea what I had to
Right.
do.
No idea. No idea.
Yo, that was gangster.
Listen, she sacrificed. She
definitely
sacrificed
did.
while Nate was having her way. All right. So let's get to these. Let's get to these questions, y'all. Right, y'all help me out, Stoney. Correct. Nate got a bad rap. Oh man. Nate was a sleazeball.
Yo, again.
Don Johnson says Nate was the original GoFundMe. Y'all are best, man. Y'all are best. All right, Thunder says, have you ever heard of paying for your funeral in advance? There was something my grandfather and grandmother did. I remember them giving me money to go and make payments for them. Yes, it's called final expense or final expense policies, but also people will make funeral payments in advance also. That is a real thing. You can speak with your a funeral director to do that. You can do layaway plans. Now I'll say this: I had gotten his plot done. And listen, those grave sites got all kinds of fees. You got to pay to open up the plot. You got to pay to then open up the grave site. Man, it's gangster. It's gangster. So yes, that is something you can do. And if you have someone who is up in age and they might not be able to get life insurance, or the life insurance might be too costly, this is another option. So, find a funeral home that you like, and, it's like funeral layaway. So you can start working on that.
That is...
Stocks and Barnes is in the building. What up? All right. Is that you, Court? 30-year term is used mainly to cover houses, decreasing term. Yep, yes it is. Donnie Bryant's in the building. He says this is good information right here. Thank you, sir. That means a lot to me. All right. Don Johnson says any younger people thinking of a career as a first responder, military, cop, nurse, EMT. By the way, did y'all know I used to be an EMT? Firefighter, have them get life insurance prior to the service. Correct. Many become non-insurable during or after service. That is correct. Because the type of job, those jobs have high mortality rates or higher mortality rates than your average person, meaning that the likelihood of them dying before your average population is higher. So life insurance companies know that. So you definitely want to get your policies ahead of time. All right, Frida says, hey, Frida. Welcome. I get advertisements from life insurance from my local credit union. Do you think it's credible? Yes, it's credible, but you might not get the best cost or best bang for buck. I would reach out to a life insurance agent or a reputable company first. And again, you can look online. There are a lot of online services that have reputable companies that they're selling policies for. Right. Yep, it's absolutely a necessity. Yes, it is. GC is here. What? Oh, what's good? What's good, GC? Welcome. All right, Thunder says you can also get life insurance from your credit union. You can. We just talked about that. All right, Donnie says I haven't done a policy review in a minute. Yes, please do one. You got a beautiful wife, beautiful kid. Set up the way you wanted to go. All right. Oh, Anthony is here. He done pulled up, so he saw that Nate clip. All right. So what we got going on here? All right. So Dina, what up, Dina? Dina says I have my two brothers as beneficiaries on my Fidelity accounts. I really want it to be for my nephews and my nieces and nephews. They're minors though. Is that the correct manner to list it? It can be, unless you don't trust your brothers. That's the only problem with that. If you're afraid that they won't get it, but it sounds like you already made them the beneficiary, so it sounds like you trust them. So, all right, Don Johnson says current service members 500K life, 100K burial insurance. All right. Dre, not you too. Nate said winter is coming.
It's coming.
Oh man, you part of the Nate gang too, Dre?
Hey, yo.
And it was funny, Stocks and Bars, we did that show together. Stocks and Bars is on that clip we were talking about. So, Dawn can't even wash that away, Nate. Nate did what he wanted to do, yeah. Nate was a creep, y'all. Y'all love Nate, but it's okay. The great Nate, Don Johnson says. Easiest people to control. Sick, lonely, elderly, or broke. Stoney found out the hard way. Yes, she did. And you are right. Pre-need. All right, Don Johnson says, Nate made sure a lot of kids got school clothes. Sure. Nate probably passed out a lot of clap too, but we ain't gonna talk about that. Thunder says, I noticed that Nate didn't purchase a revolver in that clip, or didn't produce a revolver in that clip. Gotcha. All right, righteous indignation. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Sorry, I just got off work. No worries. Listen, we're not here to add stress, all right? And remember, y'all can always find us on blackwealthrebels.com. So, all right, just got off work. Have y'all talked about borrowing from life insurance policy for extra funds? No, I didn't talk about borrowing from life insurance policies because that's more of an intermediate to advanced thing. I just wanted to cover the basics. But to righteous indignation, you can borrow from your life insurance if it has cash value. Now, I want to be clear, y'all. Larry will talk about borrowing from their policy on social media. Here's the thing. If you borrow from your policy, you can mess your policy up by doing that. If you don't have enough cash in your policy, and I've seen this happen a million times, if you don't have enough cash in your policy and they want to potentially, the cost of insurance goes up, that might put you in a really, really precarious position. So again, playing that out, it is possible. It is a possibility, but you got to be really, really strategic when doing that. Yes, sir. Didn't know I was an EMT. Now you're a financial first responder. I like that. Financial first responder. That is correct, sir. That is correct.
Now you can change it. You can change your hashtag now, man.
Yeah, I can. Listen, Donnie just helped me do some emails for my autoresponder for this free guide I'm about to give away to help people figure out how to get out of IRS debt. So Donnie always spot on for me. All right. What up, Jigga? All right, what is the difficulty in getting a policy if someone had a stroke in their late 30s who's knocking on 50? How high will the premium be if approved? It depends. There are some companies
high as giraffe ass, bro.
Maybe. But they might want medical from you. They want to see if you have a probability of having another stroke. They're going to want to know if you're getting a substantial policy. They want to know what's going on with you. But listen, at 50, it's going to be high regardless. But I'm going to say this. Go and find out now. Don't wait. If you're looking at it, you're thinking about it, you feel you need it. Hey, Nicole. The Honey Hustler is in the building. All right, Mosley 2K. What up? All right, about how much net worth and assets would it be recommended to consider life insurance for estate planning purposes. Listen, $1, depending on where you are, there's always going to be cost associated with your estate, depending on what you got going on. And I'll say this, life insurance, in my opinion, is one of the greatest financial inventions ever created. You can put $1 in a day, pay your premium, and get $1 million tomorrow if you die. There's no other product you can do that with. None. Now, everything is situational, right? It will depend on what's going on. But you can get a little bit of life insurance. You can get a lot. It just depends on what's going on. But I think any level of assets, especially if you have no assets, you want to think about having life insurance. And here's another thing a lot of people don't think about. I talk to people all the time, and they say, well, I got these properties, I'm going to leave my family. I'm not getting no life insurance. And I want to say that's a dumbass strategy. The reason why I want to say that is, what if the properties need work? What if you need money to work on those properties? But you haven't thought about anything else, just the asset. Well, what does it take to maintain that asset? Is it an income producing asset? Like, a lot of those things matter. It's not just the asset itself. So we got to be holistic and intentional about our estate planning and life insurance planning, y'all. So, all right. All right, so Drake says, can she die a will trust to override her brother's? So it's not going to override it if you have a will. So first of all, there are probatable assets and there are non-probatable assets. So for example, your beneficiaries or your life insurance, you don't need a will to do that, to direct that money. So let me say it better. There are assets that are directed by contracts, like life insurance, pension, IRA, Roth IRA. And then there are assets that are directed by your will. Okay. Now, it depends on what's going on. Now, if she has enough money to do a trust, she could do that. We got a lot of trust hustlers out here, so I'm always a little bit leery about that. By the way, did anybody know if you have a trust, you have to pay taxes on your trust? You have to file an income tax form on the trust? Nobody ever talks about that. The income tax rates on a trust are higher than that on an individual. So again, it's got to be deliberate. It's got to be intentional. It's got to be well thought out. All right. Nate for president 2028. Y'all are killing me. All right, Jigga said, jumped on late. In general, should one seek term or whole if they're pushing 50? Again, it depends. It depends on your situation. If you have the cash flow for it, maybe whole might be good for you. However, the cost of term versus whole, you're going to pay a higher amount for whole life, because you're locking in the price of insurance right now, today. 2, you're also generating a cash value. With term insurance, that's just temporary. No cash value you normally. So that cost of insurance is locked in for whatever term you decide to take, 10 year, 20 year, 30 years. Once that time is up, that cost of life insurance is up tremendously. So, you got to think about all those things. You got to think through all those things. All right. But I'll say, get whatever the most amount you can get, whatever your money will allow for. All right. Nate should have, all right, Jigga says, Nate should have invited Lou for the annual United Nate College Fund Telethon. Yo, y'all are a mess. Y'all are a mess. All right, Stocks and Bar says, that's a bar right there. I'm still on that for a future rap, financial first responder. Remember, it's mine, though. It was given to me. But no, you can steal that, bro. You can steal that. All right, Frida says, so is borrowing from a policy for high velocity banking. I've seen some videos on it. It seems so confusing. I haven't seen high velocity, but I'm guessing it's the same thing as infinite banking. And what they use in infinite banking, and correct me if that's not the same as high velocity banking, but the strategy for infinite banking is they get cash for their whole life. They try to get one from a company that is a mutual company, a mutual life insurance company, because usually the cost of insurance is lower and the dividends are typically higher. Okay. And then they do what's called overfunding the life insurance policy. So let's say you only got to pay $50 on this policy and for it to generate a good cash value. Or they'll say, you know what? I don't want to put $50 in. I want to put $500 in. And that can be done. Now, there's a couple other things that you got to deal with or think about when doing that, but it could be a good thing. One of the reasons they tell people to do that is to create your own bank. You can use your life insurance policy to create your own bank. Because guess what? Cash value inside of life insurance grows tax-free. What? There's a way to then take the money out tax-free as well. However, remember this. You can mess it up and then you could wind up owing a whole lot of tax on it too. So you just got to know what you're doing. You got to know what you're doing. All right? Thank you, Dina. Finally, somebody with some sense came here. Nate's intent was not good. His intent was predatory. Y'all heard that? Nate was a predator. I think I said that already, though. All right, Nicole says, I had to get my policy without a medical exam because of my medical issues. Right. You have different companies that will do different things, and sometimes they will forego you not getting a medical exam. So shout out to you for that. All right. All right, so Farida says, I mean, it is the same as velocity banking. Well, let me know if infinite banking is. You know what? Let me see if I can look. I'm almost certain it's the same thing. But you know, people love to come up with new stuff all the time. A new way to sell this thing. I want to explain velocity banking. Let's see. All right, it says in short, you need to identify your 4 major numbers before anything. Oh my God. Velocity banking requires a debt tool. Oh, okay, this is different. I know what this is. They've been talking about this for the last 25, almost 30 years. Basically where they, where you'll have a line of credit, you'll put your paycheck on your line of credit, and then you'll pay all your bills from the paycheck. But typically, you'll pay all your bills from the line of credit, but then you'll take your paycheck and put it all on your line of credit. And they use that a lot of times to pay down mortgages and things like that. So is that what you're talking about, Frida? All right, Thunder says, I feel bad for Nate. He was a widower. Wait a minute, you got the script? How do you know he's a widower? Oh, man, y'all must be practicing yoga today because y'all are stretching this out. All right, he was a widower and was trying to find love again. But all those women preyed on him because the whole hood heard about the $1 million payout and took advantage of him. And his soft heart for women in need. Listen, man, y'all are best. Y'all are best. All right, do I recommend, Righteous Indignation says, do you recommend the Gerber baby life insurance policy for your kids. I don't have it for my kids. What's your opinion on those? They've been around. I've never seen anybody claim them, but I believe they're legitimate. However, I would still tell you to go to a reputable life insurance company and do it there. You got something on that, Corey? Look like you peaked up.
Yeah, them Joneses. I mean, I guess they there for what they there for, but I'm not really gonna say don't do it. I'm just saying there's different vehicles that you can use that'll pay you a lot more than. But if you don't have nothing else, then that's like when some people say anything's better than nothing, then yes.
Yeah.
But there's too many other vehicles around to just be playing with that one.
All right, Thunder, you tripping. He was a hopeless romantic and they knew it. All right, Jamel says, if priced out because of premium, would prepaid cremation be the best option to make sure you're not stuck in the city morgue? Yes, you could do that. You could also look at an annuity as well, meaning you could start putting money into an annuity and then your beneficiaries would get it, the tax benefit. So that's when they go about it. But again, prepaid cremation, prepaid funeral. Also, final expense insurance might be an option for you. Usually, a lot of times, those don't have medical exams as well. All right, there we go. Donnie just subscribed to Stocks and Bars. All right, that's dope. Listen, the Black Wealth Rebels is a community. We are here to share and share alike. So get to know each other, get to know each other's strengths, get to know each other's values. So Donnie does a lot of things. All right, Dre says, I don't know until you told us that. I didn't know until you told us last week. I don't remember what I said. All right, listening to you guys make me check my 401k. Yes, please check your 401k. I did not have a beneficiary. Good. I'm glad you listened. I've saved a lot of people a lot of heartache by checking their Roth IRAs and checking their 401ks and 403bs. Oh, by the way, my dad had a 403b, and I wasn't the beneficiary on that either. So, things happen. All right, what's up, Brandon? When people start bringing in large sums of money through various means, how should the policies be used? Elaborate on that more for me, Brandon. If you can. I mean, some people use life insurance as a savings vehicle. Again, like I said a few minutes ago, cash value life insurance, the money you put in the cash value life insurance can grow tax-free. There are ways to pull it out tax-free. You can, if done right, you can use it as a bank. So it's it just all depends on what you're doing. Okay. All right. So I got it. All right. I'm not too far to my card for reader. All right. Joel says another reason why leaving rental properties is iffy because who says your beneficiaries are qualified or even want to be landlords? Hey, that's real. That's real. I'll say this, right? Your average home in America right now is 400,000 ish. Don't quote me on that, but somewhere around there, right? So a lot of people are infatuated with the ideas of real estate. Now, there is a benefit to leaving real estate. So if you leave real estate, and let's say it was 400,000, right, when you moved in, and let's say it doubled. It's now $800,000. Well, the child, I'm assuming is a child that gets the home. They don't have to pay any tax on that extra $400,000 they got. Because remember, person paid $400,000 for it. It appreciated to $800,000. Person passed. Now the child or spouse has it. There's a thing called step up in basis that gets employed when somebody dies through the tax code. So think about that. Think about that. But instead of getting that $800,000, you can just get $1 million life insurance contract. You ain't got to deal with none of that. And it's tax free already. All right, so Thunder says some life insurance companies' premiums increase as time passes, but you can convert it later if not mistaken. Thunder, that is for you have a whole life or a well, I'm fumbling, y'all. Whole life or universal life policy. The premiums don't increase unless you've done something in that policy. For example, if you're taking a loan out of it, you borrowed against it, and you didn't pay it back in enough time. So the policy might have to adjust again to compensate for you paying that money back and making sure the cost of insurance has gone up. Matter of fact, take that back. Universal life policies, cost of insurance can go up. It can go up. However, the thought is there's enough cash value in that policy to level it out and the premium doesn't go up. So again, it's two factors when you life insurance. You have the cash value portion and then you have the cost of insurance portion. And that's what makes up the premium. So keep that in mind, y'all. Keep that in mind. All right. So Stocks and Bars just saying thank you. All right. Nate needed more than his client's office floors waxed. Y'all are a trip. All right, my mom got life insurance on all her grandkids when they were born. Smart lady. Smart lady. All right, say someone is making $5 million annually after taxes, and this person keeps increasing their income. What should be done with their whole life policies that are purchased when they were not rich? Well, I'll say this. What I would do, one, they need to assess if they have life insurance, right? Enough life insurance. Two, I would then overfund, meaning, let's say the premium was $50 for that. Let's call it the broke insurance fund, right? When you were broke, the premium was $50. You're making $5 million a year. I would potentially either one, I would look to overfund that policy to the point, right before the point where it becomes a tax problem. Two, I might look to see if I want to convert. A lot of people don't realize you can do this. You can take your life insurance policy, your cash value life insurance policy, and convert it or move it into a different kind of policy, kind of like a rollover. So you might want to move that over into a bigger policy so you don't have those same kind of policies and you put a bunch of money into it. A lot of people overlook, a lot of high income people overlook the benefits of life insurance. One of the benefits of life insurance, again, like I said, you put money in, it grows. It's like a Roth on steroids. You put money in it, it grows tax-free, and you can pull it out tax-free. What's wrong with the city morgue, Donnie says. Nobody wants to be in Pottersfield. All right, speaking of 401k and 403, what's the difference? The difference is 401ks usually are for for-profit organizations. 403b, it's a retirement plan that's usually for nonprofit organizations. But there are times where you might see a 401k retirement plan at a nonprofit organization. Oh, okay. Dre says, I didn't know until you told us last week regarding fees and taxes on trusts. Yes. Listen, everything people are trying to solicit on social media, they're trying to get paid off of. Always remember that. What else, Cedric? All right, bedtime. All right, bro. Thanks for coming through. Appreciate you. We'll be back on Friday. Bitcoin giveaway Friday. Don't forget. All right. Let's see. Let me get to the rest of these, y'all. And don't forget about Friday's Bitcoin giveaway. Make sure you tell somebody and tell somebody and tell somebody. All right. So, all right. Thunder says, someone who was telling me about a backdoor Roth. What is that? All right. I'll talk about back things. What people, I'm trying to think about the best way to explain it. Normally, let's say regular people who are average income folks, right? They might get a tax deduction by putting money into a traditional IRA. However, if you make over, let's say, $160,000, $170,000 a year, I think that number is even lower. You can't get a benefit from the traditional IRA. You can't do it. All right. So a lot of people often do what's called a backdoor Roth IRA. And I have a lot of clients that do these. Basically, what you do is, let's say you got $1,000. You have $1,000. You put your $1,000 into a traditional IRA first. You have to do this sequentially, though. You can't miss a step. Traditional IRA. And then the next day, you take that $1,000 from the traditional IRA. You open up a Roth IRA. You then move it into a Roth IRA. And what that does is, they haven't fixed this yet. And a lot of people talk openly about it. They're going to fix it at some point, I bet. But what that essentially allows you to do is that money grows tax-free for the entirety of it being in there. And you don't have some of the stipulations that you run into with the traditional IRA. For example, you have to do what's called an RMD. RMD stands for required minimum distribution. And that usually happens 70 and a half, or it's either 71 and 72 because they changed the rules. With the Roth IRA, you don't have to worry about that at all. Now, I don't think anybody in the audience 70-ish, and y'all probably like, I ain't got to worry about that. One day, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, you'll be 70. And then you're going to be like, what am I going to do with this extra money that they make me pull out of my account? They make you pull that money out of your account so they can tax you on it. So think about that, y'all. That's one of the benefits of having a Roth IRA. All right. Let me know if that was clear to y'all. Let me know if anybody needs any more clarification. What you got, Corey? Seems like you got something.
No, I was just reading this because this is my situation too. My aunt passed away, and I definitely came out of pocket for a funeral.
That's real, man. Everybody's passed the plate. You know, I know a lot of people make jokes about GoFundMe's. I'm not one of them. And actually, in Black tradition, life insurance at one point. Look up about AJ Gaston's. Read the book, Green Titan. All right. Read that book. He made a lot of his first money by being a funeral home director and then in life insurance. But Black people couldn't get life insurance. What did they do? They passed the hat to make sure their folks got buried. Make sure they got treated right.
Like I said, man, I paid a number that I do not want to discuss. I paid a college tuition to bury my aunt.
Ooh, shout out to you. Shout out to Corey.
Listen, that's not braggadocious or nothing.
No, it's not braggadocious, but I still believe he gets a big up though. That's all I'm saying.
Because when somebody means something in your life, you want to make sure that when they go with some dignity.
Right. And you want them to go the way they want.
I wouldn't have been able to sleep. I wouldn't be on this show if I didn't do what I did. Because I couldn't function properly as a human, knowing that if she didn't get buried the way I wanted her to get buried, it would have been I would have been dysfunctional.
You want to honor her. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
Listen, some of the weirdest things happen at burials and funerals. So, for example, I don't wear suits. Y'all will probably never see me wear a suit. You definitely won't see me wear a tie. However, for my dad, because he always said it, wear a black suit when you come to my funeral. Wear a black suit. I went and wore the black suit. I wore a tie. I got my son a suit and tie. We went to the funeral because that's what he wanted. Not what I wanted. It was what he wanted. All right, so Nicole says, my brother-in-law passes away without life insurance, and I had to come out of pocket. But you're better for it. But now you got to tell everybody, make sure they monkey asses have some life insurance. Because, man, it don't feel good when you got to shell out all that money. All right, Thunder says 400K. Oh, yeah, that's right. You're up north. Down south, it's a lot cheaper, 200K. No. Where you at? In Georgia? I got a buddy of mine in Georgia right out of Atlanta. He was telling me he's looking at a new home, a new build for like $600,000.
Atlanta is.
You're at what you want.
Atlanta is a whole different. You can't count Atlanta. Like Atlanta is a southern city, but the prices ain't southern.
Okay.
You just got to leave Atlanta out of it. Like it's ugly to say, but Atlanta got crazy prices. Like,
okay, I'm looking at South Carolina. All right, What do you think, Cora? What say you?
What, in South Carolina?
In South Carolina.
My sister bought a crib in South Carolina. Affordable, I guess.
No, average. Just what's the average?
I mean, my sister got a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom for like 175, 185. So okay. I don't know what's average, but that's what she paid.
Boom. The average home price in South Carolina varies by location, as all real estate, but is around $300,000. Now, again, we're just looking at the averages. We know that a scale. Everybody's not going to fall on that. I'm sure Corey's sister got something nice down there for what you said, 170, 180.
Yeah.
But, you know.
She got 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms for 180. Right. But she lives in rural South Carolina, not.
But even here, look, rural area home prices are typically $200,000 to $250,000. It ain't cheap. It ain't cheap.
It ain't cheap at all.
And what people don't realize is that the Fed has been monkeying around with interest rates so long. There's a shortage of new homes on the market. Real estate is in like this really weird place right now. So keep that in mind, y'all. Keep that in mind. All right. And he said, oh, yes, and that's in a major city. Okay. All right. All right. Jigga says, is it true that when term runs up, you can convert it, the whole cash value to whole policy? Yes. However, you don't want to do it when it runs out. You want to convert the policy before it runs out, because when it runs out, the price goes up. So you want to do it before it goes up. Remember, life insurance is a contract, y'all. They don't want to budge on those contracts once they're set. So you want to do it before then. All right, Thunder says in the retirement plan, they have the option of an S&P 500 or a target date retirement fund. Which one do you prefer? So I usually don't like target date funds because they typically are more expensive. But if you don't like nerding out like me, then a target date fund is fine. Yeah. Thunder asks again, can you backdoor with the phone? I'm going to say no. However, if you do what's called separate from service, leave your job, just like Trump offered all the people to leave their jobs if they wanted to take their TSPs That's the governmental retirement plan. They could then roll over or to an IRA or roll over to a Roth IRA. Now, there might be some tax consequences when rolling over to a Roth IRA, so you got to be clear with that. Whoa. All right, so I got to tell Jimmy this. So I got more money from a super chat when I presented than Jimmy did. So make sure y'all remind Jimmy about that. Thank you, Righteous Indignation. $20 super chat. You know what? You damn right. As much times as y'all bully me, and I'm telling you,
easy. Don't say yo. I'm on my business.
Because y'all part of the Pause gang.
Whoa, I mean, I personally have not paused tonight.
Corey says, hey, yo.
Yo. But I mean, I did not pause you at all tonight. And you did say some plausible.
I said some plausible things. Oh, damn. I thought I was doing good. She says, y'all cooking.
Because I can.
She says, y'all cooking. Thanks for the valuable information, fellas. No, we appreciate you. Listen, we do it for y'all. Alrighty. I'm trying to remember if I ever seen you in a suit. No, Nicole, you probably have never seen me in a suit. And we go way back. All right. Thunder says, thank you. You can't count Atlanta. All right, Atlanta, North Carolina, Durham, Raleigh, the Triangle. What is it? Chapel Hill? Not Chapel Hill. What's the other one? Durham, Raleigh. Where's the airport at? I can't think of where the airport's at. But that whole Triangle area down there, that's been going up.
I've never flown into North Carolina. Every time I've been to North Carolina, I always drove in. Like I've never actually been on a plane into North Carolina. I've been in North Carolina like 40 times, but every time I go either into or through North Carolina, I've always been in a car. I've never actually caught a flight to North Carolina.
Now, my first flight was to North Carolina, to Raleigh, Durham.
Damn.
All right. Can't count Atlanta. All right. So Nicole says, I found a house in Georgia for $180K. 4 acres of land. Oh, that's nice. So y'all will can you do the same type of honeybee down there that you're doing up here in New Jersey? All right. Anthony says, I live in Memphis and 400K would do me real nice. Okay, what's the average home in Memphis? I'm curious now. What's the average home in Memphis? Anthony, what say you? What say you? Okay, yeah, that would do him nice. That would do him nice. All right, let me share that real quick. All right, the average home in Memphis, Tennessee in 2024 is between $142,000 and $230,000.
Double up down there.
Hey, maybe we need to go to Memphis. Shout out to Memphis.
I like Tennessee.
I've never been to Memphis before.
What's crazy is I've been to a lot of cities in Tennessee, but Memphis is not one of them. I've been to Chattanooga.
I've been to St. Louis.
I've been to St. Louis also. I've been to all 48 contiguous states. And I purposely went to North Dakota. Like I literally was in South Dakota to see the monument. And we drove like 5.5 hours. 6.5 hours, something like that, just so I could say I went to North Dakota because I had no reason. I couldn't figure out a reason to go to North Dakota. So I just drove there just to say I went. But the other.
All right, so Thunder says, look at Louisiana.
Yeah, like.
All right, so Thunder says, look at Louisiana, and especially Texas. Everyone is flooding Texas like Houston. Yeah, all right, let's look at it.
Listen, man. I'm literally I just came back from Houston, bro. I moved right back. Like,
all right, so the average home price in Louisiana is around 197,000. All right. Now, me and Jimmy just went to New Orleans year before last. I think it was, year before last. Love the city. I heard Shreveport is dope.
Yo, New Orleans is dirty, yo.
I didn't think it was dirty.
Yo, listen, man. The French Quarter, what the? As soon as I start talking, they start going crazy. The French Quarter was dirty as hell. See, I called maybe it wasn't me, but like I was walking around in the French Quarter, man. I had all kinds of goop and piss on my shoes, man. It was disgusting, bro. But then
It's
again,
funny, I stayed in the French Quarter when I was down there.
Yeah, I guess it was disgusting.
No, I loved it. I mean, New Orleans, well, Louisiana to be particular, their history is phenomenal. Especially, we did a city tour. We learned about a Treme, not the HBO show, but old school Treme. I mean, they were freeing slaves, and I just thought that was dope. All right, now, Thunder also said Texas. All right. Let's see. Now, I know a lot of people are moving to Texas, but some of them folks down there, I don't know. Like when they get extreme heat or extreme cold. All right, so the average home price in Texas is around $306,000. Okay. Let's see. Do they talk about Houston? The average list price for homes in Houston is $349,000. All right, so we're not too far off that rock. Not too far off. But Corey said he's not going back.
My dad lives in Birmingham, so I've been to Birmingham 75 times.
You actually counted, Corey?
No, I'm just saying I've been to Birmingham. I go to Birmingham like 3 times a year just to visit my pop.
Got you. All right, so there I did that. It's over. Sure, you're right. Listen, I love Barry. It's funny. I really love Barry White, y'all. But every time somebody says, Kamari, sing some Barry White, I always forget the lyrics. All right, Nicole says, I'm trying to remember if I ever seen you. No, we read that already. Okay, this must have jumped on me. I don't know how they found out. All right, Thunder says, I just found out something interesting just now. Google's the world's largest medical center. How is that possible? All right, Nicole says you need to visit Birmingham.
Yeah, Birmingham. I mean, you can find nice stuff. Like, so my dad bought a house in Birmingham, and then he bought the house next door and built like a walkway between the two houses and turned it into one property. And it's like 7 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. Like, it's crazy. I don't know why you feed these dogs right now. It's driving me nuts.
It's all good, bro. All right, so Nicole said, yes, I can move my farm. I would just have to requeen my hives every year. I don't even know what that means. In Jersey, I am required to replace my queen bee. I'm not required to replace my queen bee. So was that like a state law thing or something? But that's interesting. All right, Don Johnson says, great migration back to the South would do some good. Okay, sounds like you've been reading Charles Blow book, The Devil You Know. He talks about that, about us going back to the South and taking over it. Because the most majority of Black folks are in the South. All right. All right, Nicole says, I'm in Texas for work and these people drive crazy. That's what everybody says about every city. A $400K will turn me into Nate in my city. I'm in a bond. Lord have mercy. All right. Oh man, y'all tripping. Y'all tripping. All right. All right, Jamel says Knoxville got hit during COVID by blue state runaways, mainly from California and New York. Around 2019, homes were 150K, 225. Now it's 400,000, and that's for a 3-bedroom, non-brink, garbage with no basement. Listen, everything's been weird since COVID, though, right? All right, dang, North Dakota, I would love this. Natural parks, mountain ranges, and geysers in these northwestern states. I'm a bit jealous. So who lives in North Dakota? Who's talking about North Dakota?
I was talking about how I went to South Dakota just to see the monument, and then I had, just so I could say I went to North Dakota, I drove to North Dakota just to say I was there.
Okay.
I definitely didn't stay.
Gotcha. Listen, it gets cold in North and South Dakota. All right, Nicole says, yes, it is a state law because Georgia is scared of hives becoming diseased. Oh, really? So you had to replace the queen bee. Hives cannot survive without a queen bee. Okay. All right. Well, does anybody have any financial thing before we tune off? Again, welcome to Black Wealth Rebel Show. This is our Wealthy Wednesday segment. Remember, our Bitcoin giveaway is this Friday. And Money Church, Financial Church is coming up Sunday at 10 a.m. So we got Friday, 7 o'clock, and we got Sunday at 10 a.m. So make sure y'all put that on your calendar. And again, we want to thank Drake for the $5 super chat. Thank you. I'm sorry you hate my voice. There's nothing I can do about that, sir. All right, and thank you, Righteous Indignation. Definitely appreciate the $20 super chat. Let Jimmy know that I'm like the top shotter now, though. Well, Corey will tell him, I'm sure, and then there'll be some retribution that I'll have to deal with later on next week or later on this week.
Retribution? What are you talking about?
Yeah. Somebody gonna have something to say. All right, Jamil says, if you come to the South, you'll be better off grabbing land and building to your liking. A lot of the Anglos buy a couple acres and build two or more modulars to keep it family oriented.
Yes, they do. So that's what my uncle do. So my uncle got a 10-acre plot right outside Houston, and he got like 6 modulars he built on them joints over the last 20 years.
Listen, I got a homie, one of my good friends I grew up with, moved down to Maryland, right outside of D.C. They bought 50 acres, and it's a beautiful lot of land. They got houses, they building modulars, they're doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot of things. All right, Thunder says, a few years back, I was in Wyoming, and they had for 49K. Jeez. So I know black folks everywhere. I don't know if I would want to be in Wyoming, though, y'all. 2 or 3 modulars. I don't know, y'all. It gets a little funky up there. It's like I was watching a woman, I forget her name, but she bought a farm, I forget, somewhere up north, and they were so racist, they done ran her off because she's like, I gotta protect my peace. Wow, but looking at these home prices in Wyoming, where we at? Oh, here we go. So as of February 2023, the average home value in Wyoming was $316,886. As of 2024, the average home value in Wyoming is around $352,603. Damn, that's a hell of a jump. I guess they said too many people were trying to come out here. I think Kanye was out there then. So they were like, They bring as many people out here. Go up on the price. The rent's not high enough. So, all right, y'all. Well, listen, we appreciate everyone here. Again, remember, we are back here Friday, 7 p.m. It is our Financial Fridays. It's our weekly Bitcoin giveaway. And Jimmy and I ran through the numbers of how much Bitcoin Jimmy and Corey have given away over like the last 5-6 years. And I believe it's north of $50,000. We got to go back and track the number down, but that's a lot of money, y'all. Y'all been doing the damn thing. We got 2 more joints. Doesn't Kanye live in Wyoming? Who knows? All right, come back south. You'll be able to cut your food bill in half and grow whatever you want. Listen, I'm about to be about that grower life. What's that?
I moved back down there and I couldn't, man, listen.
You ain't got a green thumb, Corey?
The crazy part is my thumb is not green, but it's not, I don't kill things. I just don't know how to grow them.
Gotcha.
Right? So once I have them, I definitely be in my Googles and I keep it alive, but I can't grow a damn thing.
Gotcha. All right, Jacob says, have you seen Boosie's redevelopment of his estate, main mansion, of 5 2-story apartments for his children? Yeah, I've seen it. I mean, it's pretty impressive, and it looks like he's going to have interest in going to Bootsy Town, or whatever they're going to call it. So shout out to him for doing that. So, but all right, we will see y'all on Friday, y'all. Again, tune in and see if y'all can win some Bitcoin. Until then, y'all be great. Y'all have a great night.